Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is the FIA Certified Manufacturer Series, Round 1 of the 2021 Exhibition Season 2. Top split, third slot, 330 point race. Just a quick breeze through the grid. Pole position for this race was a 51.0. A lot of fast drivers in here, including two former GT Academy drivers, being Turismo Lester and SV Cyrus. Nonetheless, was looking forward to this race. However, first slot, which was like a 340 point race, actually got disconnected, which was very earth-shattering, if you will. I swore it off in second slot. I just played Skyrim, so I was a little heated that with the practice and all the effort kind of put into it, I got disconnected. Nonetheless, I thought, you know what, just try it. Third slot, coming in with about 58,000 driver rank. All right, cycling through here on lap 2. So the AMS driver in the Viper is pulled out, about a 1.5-second gap already to V1 shoots with Turismo Lester and VLX Dino right behind. And the pack is already kind of split, 1st through 6th, and then 7th all the way down to my humble self, NRT Swordsman 52, representing the Hyundai Genesis once again, and of course NRT, which is Nezo Racing Team. So very fast lobby, everyone was close. I qualified 12th with a 51.6. Pretty much the entire grid was separated by under a second. So the initial practice race I did was to start on the soft tires. That would be hoping I would have been in the start, the front of the field. So for this race, I just assumed that the front 5 or 6 drivers would be on the softs, and then 7th on would be on mediums. I know a lot of people were going to go and try and do a no stop. I attempted the no stop, but I just overdrove the car and the tires were shot. So nonetheless, starting off on softs, and I assumed. So a lot of these guys that were ahead of me were on the medium, so I was essentially getting slowed down. I wasn't getting frustrated though. I thought this track combination would have made me a little bit more heated, but I practiced enough patience, as you've seen in previous videos, where I'm just happy to be here, happy to be in a top split, top tier lobby, and just happy to be racing. So finishing up lap 4, I am trailing Trey Gamer, and he and I actually had a really good battle later on. Alright, here we are, lap 5. Turismo Lester and VLX Dino actually have penalties to serve. So dropping down the order just a little bit. Cyrus leads the second pack. So yeah, the strategy was to start on softs, try and keep up with these guys. There's a lot of guys that I out-qualified that still have faster race pace than me, so it's about trying to stay with everyone and see what they're doing. Alright, start of lap 8. Right behind my good friend Kev. Kev had certainly a difficult race in that Lamborghini, but nonetheless, always awesome to be up with him. So at this point too, having started on the softs, I knew the drivers behind started on the medium, so hopefully we could create some sort of gap, and that was the case. It was maybe about a 3-second gap back to VLX Cortez, and come to find out watching the replay, him and a couple other drivers got penalties. So the goal for this race was to not get a penalty. Can we do it? And so far, here at the start of lap 9, no penalties. I was trying to be very cautious with the throttle inputs. This FR car in particular, using a lot of brake balance towards the rear. especially under heavy braking, the car tends to jerk. And at a track here like the Red Bull Ring Short, very easy to get that understeer. As we see a couple of drivers ahead actually have a squabble. Trey Gamer and the Dominican Sim Racing Team driver kind of get together. I do some evasive action, and they were able to get ahead of Kev, also known as 100P or Luke, however he wants to go by. Nonetheless, we have a really good run, but again, I figured, you know what, these guys ahead of me are on mediums. So, and I'm in the Genesis, which isn't a very fast car in a straight line. So for the most part, it's sitting behind, and I end up getting a decent run as the DSRT driver bumps into the back of the BMW ahead. I make it just the most minimal bit of contact, unintentional, of course, and that actually allows us to get the run and pass that Aston Martin Vantage. So now, you know, here on lap 10, made up a few positions, and we're sitting in 9th spot. Super close to Trey Gamer, just trying our best to you know, hit our braking points correctly. You know, especially when you're behind another driver, it's so easy to, you know, to one, feel like, oh, you know what, I'm faster than him. I'm going to make some crazy pass that I didn't practice. You know, and two, of course, following super close behind someone, it can be very easy to get a penalty, especially based on the current update. So here we are, lap 11. Trey Gamer gets a half a second shortcut penalty. I get beside him. Now, I was not expecting to make this move. I was just expecting to, you know, to make him aware, like, hey, you know what? Here I am. Nonetheless, super clean drive. I've seen Trey Gamer in some of the Z28 lobbies. That was just some hardcore, brilliant racing right there. So check this out. I'm on the outside. You know, I keep the car within the track limits. He serves his half-second penalty, and there we are. I'm essentially gifted the 7th position. So now, you know, lap 11. I've been making sure my my tire wear is pretty even. Haven't gotten a penalty. I'm starting to see what other drivers are doing. So, you know, the drivers that started on mediums, for the most part, with a few exceptions, we're going to pit and then switch to the softs. There were a few drivers that, you know, we're going to go ahead and do a no stop on mediums. But nonetheless, this far into the race, I was actually pretty excited. I was a little bit nervous as we see one of the big Hyundai switchers this season, VLX Dino, super fast driver. You know, he'll be up there competing for the first place overall for Hyundai, and I'll be happy if I can get a top 5. Really, I mean, there's a lot of drivers that switch, so it's just nice to be in top split and to be racing in general. So here we are, lap 14. Super close action. So again, I gave Trey some space. He let me pass. I'm going to go ahead and return the favor. I figure, you know, you're faster than me. There's really not much I can do. The DSRT guy tries to push his way ahead, and I end up going a little bit wide. And I don't know how I did it, but I didn't get a penalty, and that is sheer luck. But nonetheless, I lose a couple positions, and maybe that's why the game was like, you know what, you just lost 3 spots. Here you go. So from another angle, Trey's got the inside. I know he's there. I run a little bit wide. There's really nothing I can do at this point. And then I see that the DSRT guy's going to try and push his way ahead. So I kind of nudge Trey a little bit, but, you know, again, there's really nothing I can do. Alright, here we are on lap 16. Still a very close battle for 11th position. And still we have a marginal gap ahead of VLX Cortez as I get beside BM Drifter. And BM Drifter actually lifts for me, so cheers, mate. I think at this point BM Drifter recognized, you know, Swordsman's on faster tires. than fight, let's kind of work together. So hats off to the McLaren driver for that. Actually, like I said, in the first slot, BM Drifter was right behind me, and I had one bar, and I don't know if it was lag or whatnot, but I lost a bunch of space to the drivers ahead. I had to let him, the rest of the train through before I got disconnected. So here we are, start of lap 17, still no penalty, which, you know, for me isn't a surprise, but considering how finicky the penalty system is, I was pretty surprised. I know there was a couple close calls, and you know, despite doing 13 laps on soft tires, switching to mediums, other drivers doing the complete opposite. Here we are sitting in 13th, and we're really not too far off the battle for the top 10. As we kind of skim through the field with just 6 laps to go now. Notice the drivers ahead are starting to kind of bunch up, so I figured, you know what, I think the drivers in 9th and 10th are doing the no stop on mediums, because 11th and 12th are getting pretty close. However, I've got a C7 Corvette of Apex Motorsports Rush, super fast driver. He's barking on the top 10 leaderboards for the overall point standings, and I figure, you know what, again, there's nothing I can do. I'm in a Hyundai. I've got minimal practice. You know what, with all due respect, you can have the position. Alright, lap 21, riding on board with a DSRT driver. Check this out. Gets into Trey, spins him around. Unbelievable. Gets a deserved 5-second penalty. And in the meantime, PX7 John gets a half-second penalty. So I'm like, wait a second, I'm in 13th place. I could possibly be battling for 9th? What? So PX7 John gets kind of a tough run because of the really used mediums. DSRT driver serves that 5-second penalty, and suddenly we're vaulted into 11th position. So having taken a look at the points before the race, 330 for a win, 200 points plus for a top 10 finish. Alright, riding on board with Kev, runs a bit wide, hands the position for 9th over to Deuce. And I start to get a pretty good run. A little bit of bumping, just like, hey, you know, go a little faster, bud. However, I'm able to somehow get beside the Lambo. Take a look, thought, you know what, it's too early. He ends up going wide, and suddenly, what? So it's in the top 10 position. This is unbelievable. So from another angle, I kind of take a peek on the outside, you know, hey, here I am. Pretty sure I'm faster right now. Not going to go for it, but because of those worn mediums, you know, it's difficult to brake, especially in a four-wheel drive car here at the Red Bull Ring Short. And suddenly Swordsman's in the top 10 position, just out of nowhere. I still can't believe it. And I haven't gotten a penalty yet. You know, with the current system and seeing some of my friends who've got DR resets from doing daily races starting in the back, I'm really happy with this result. You know, meanwhile, same machinery, VLX Dino in the Hyundai, well done, gets the 330 points, which is going to be the leader after round 1 for Hyundai. So hats off to Dino. AMS going to take second, Madaboy third, NSF in fourth, V1 Shoots, Turismo Lester, Cyrus, AMS Rush going to take 8th. Check out this battle for 9th between Deuce and myself. Deuce did the no stop, started back in 17th. You know, I knew I was faster. I think if I had one more lap, probably would have gotten ninth. But hey, you know, I'm just happy that we had a clean race. And that was the, you know, the margin of victory, I guess, for ninth place. So 10th place, 206 points. I can be pretty happy with that after a disconnect, especially in an all A+ lobby. Awesome sauce. So thanks again for watching. I appreciate your subscribing, your comments, and your likes, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.